Making money online is easy if you don't do what I did when you begin. And in this video, I'm gonna share with you 3 mistakes that I made when I started my entrepreneurial journey that might help you make things a little bit smoother as you begin yours, and especially as you find success in yours. I'm coming to you as somebody that is literally not able to flex Lamborghinis, is literally not able to flex $1 million in my bank account because I haven't gotten results like that. But as a 26-year-old, I have started 3 businesses that have become profitable and ultimately have allowed me to live a lifestyle where I get to do really whatever I want, whenever I want. And my money comes from solving problems and adding value to people in a way that really feels in alignment with my being, with my soul, with my morals, and what really ethically feels right for me. And so like I said, if you're looking for the fastest way to make $1 million, or you're looking for like the most lucrative business models, or really just anything that's gonna generate you vast quantities of wealth in the shortest amount of time, and sorry I had to move, there were some kids screaming back there. Well, this video is probably not for you, but this is the video that's gonna explain how I was able to achieve financial freedom at a very young age, and again, do it in a way that is very fulfilling for me. Look, I am not drop shipping. I am not selling shit on Amazon. I am not doing retail arbitrage or Airbnb arbitrage or any of these kind of gimmicky things that people preach as the main vehicles for building huge amounts of money in the shortest possible time. What I am here to talk about is how you can build profitable businesses doing things that you really love, right? Doing things that really feel fulfilling for you on a soul level. On top of that, none of my businesses demand product, right? I'm not shelling out huge amounts of money to make them sustain themselves, right? I am keeping 99% of the profits, and I also have maximum time freedom. Now, also keep in mind that following the steps that I've taken, you can build businesses that are scaled significantly further than I've chosen to scale my own endeavors. So, I'm gonna tell you how I've done it, exactly how my experience has gone, and then I'm gonna talk you through the 3 biggest mistakes that I made and exactly how you can avoid those for yourself. So first things first, I'm something of a lifelong entrepreneur. I know a lot of people share this kind of story, but I started out mowing lawns, selling things on eBay, doing snow shoveling when I was as young as like 7 or 8 years old. And those weren't major endeavors by any means, right? I was just going door to door seeing if people would pay me to shovel their snow after we had a big snowstorm. My parents were generous enough to let me use their lawnmower to go door to door and ask people, hey, can I mow your lawn for you? And as soon as I discovered eBay, I wasn't necessarily looking for what kinds of things could I buy, I was looking for what kinds of things around my house could I sell and make money from. And I think that this kind of humble beginning root stage is where a lot of people need to focus their attention. See, the vast majority of people are not looking to get into entrepreneurship for what I consider to be the right reasons, which is solving problems and adding value. Instead, it's all about me, me, me. And we'll talk about the mistakes later on in the video, but this is one of the major mistakes, is that you're not focusing on fixing a problem for your market or your ideal audience. You're just looking for getting more money into your bank account. And so first things first, if that's you and you're just looking for where can I make my next buck, I'm sure there's plenty of people that would say, yeah, entrepreneurship is the fastest vehicle to do that. But I'm here to tell you that you're probably better off going and getting a job or joining the freelancer marketplace. If you know how to code, you're good at graphic design, you have some kind of other digitally marketable skill, go make a profile on Upwork, go start, answering job applications. And I guarantee if you do that consistently every day for a couple hours, you will have your first job by the end of the week. But even freelancing is hard work, right? It takes a lot of work just to get the job. And then at that point, you still have to fulfill the service, right? Deliver the project for the exchanged agreed upon value, AKA getting the money back in your bank account. And so right off the bat, what I would say is if you're looking just to, make a quick buck, figuring out how you can make money, tomorrow or the next day or just ASAP, go out, look for gig economy work, right? Go on freelance websites, start driving for Uber or Lyft or something. The thing is, even the most marketed vehicles like drop shipping or Amazon FBA, right? They still require a huge amount of marketing up front. You still have to spend a lot of money up front to get your product out there, or at very least, invest a huge amount of time into social media to build up an audience and get people to really trust you. Now, bringing things back to my story, I brought up all these points because I want you guys to understand that if you allow yourself to look past a lot of this gimmicky stuff about like what's the fastest way to make money, the bottom line is that any company that succeeds, any company that's profitable, is a company that is solving a real problem, right? They are looking for problems that people have that they're willing to exchange money for. And then they're ready to build a vehicle, right? An infrastructure that effectively solves that problem, not just for one person, but a whole market of people. That's what builds your credibility as a business, and that's what gets people to not only continue to come back to you, but then spread the message, right? Refer you to their friends, refer you to their family as that proof that, hey, this product or service really is the real deal, and it's worth putting my own individual credibility on the line to my family and friends to recommend it. So as I got older, I continued on that pathway of doing labor for exchange of money, right? I did a lot of different jobs that were more or less freelance jobs, and because of that, I was was able to name a higher price. So I did things like working on masts for boats. Of course, I did, tons of landscaping work, a lot of various handyman kind of work. And again, I already had experience that gave me, a degree of proficiency in doing a lot of these jobs. And so it's not like people were walking in blind, right? Most people were referred to me by somebody else. And so once again, I had that referral power behind me of, hey, this guy is actually legit, and me as a friend or me as a family member is vouching for him. And so I've pretty much always had consistent income from doing work like that. And actually a lot of the clients that I had when I was younger doing, handyman and laboring jobs for have become consistent clients for me in another one of my businesses, which is in-home dog sitting. Now I know a lot of people are like, what the hell? Is this guy really trying to push making money in things like dog sitting? You see, typically about 4 months out of the year, I am living rent-free on an incredibly beautiful property, a huge house that sits on 20 acres where there is a river, beautiful gardens, and of course it's secluded. I get to really do whatever I want while I'm there. And keep in mind, this massive house that I would otherwise be paying $5,000, $6,000, even $7,000 a month to live in, I don't pay anything for utilities, for internet, for anything. And I also get paid on average of $1,000 a month to do that. Now granted, I am taking care of somebody else's dogs. I am, watering their plants. But if you watch my videos, I spend a huge amount of time walking dogs. I also love plants. I don't mind watering them. I don't mind spending time around them. But the major factor is I'm able to live rent-free in a place that does still have Wi-Fi. I can still work on other projects, and it's a beautiful place. It is so freeing for my mental health. And my entrepreneurial spirit, right, that intention of looking for problems and then solving them led me to this relationship where I've been working with this particular couple for years, and I almost like travel trade-off with them, right? I essentially plan my travel around when they're gonna travel because I know I'm gonna have this massive place to myself, and it's typically an influx of $2,000 that I just get to really be myself, do regular Zach things on a daily basis, and guarantee that it's gonna come to me. My main hustle is called Vegan Strong Fit. You can check us out at veganstrongfit.com. What I help a person do is build out very clearly what they want their life to look like, and then build out habits that essentially guarantee that you get to that point. Now, the way that I differentiate my business is that we go much deeper on the mental health aspect. The vast majority of people already know the steps physically, what they need to do to get in shape, but there are mental blocks that they face that essentially force them back into these old bad habit patterns over and over again. So again, what we do is get very clear on what the goal is, who do you want to become, and then what are the internal trauma-based limitations that are holding you back from adopting those healthy habits and doing them on a daily basis. We hold you accountable for a 1-year program, and in that time you can essentially guarantee that you're gonna get those good results because you have the accountability, you have the structure, you have the time frame that makes it make sense, right? We're not really trying to force results in this 3 or 4 month program like a lot of fitness programs do. But instead we're getting very, very clear on the identity of the person that you want to become, and then every single day together we are reflecting on what went well, what didn't go so well, and then what we can improve on tomorrow to make just that much more progress. Now I love my business, and I love my clients, and I love the work that I get to do every single day, but it wasn't always like this. Early in college I decided that I wanted to start a real business and break out of the whole track to a 9 to 5. I just knew that was something that I did not want to do, especially as a political science student. Seeing the kinds of work that political scientists were getting right out of college, I was like, fuck no, I can't do that. And so I started my own Shopify store. Now I was selling yoga products. Right? I was trying to sell yoga products, and I was making sales here and there, but it was super challenging, right? I had to do all of the marketing myself. I had to make sure that I wasn't sourcing products that totally suck. I had jumped into a market and built a store around something that I didn't really know what I was talking about in. And as such, I was building and marketing content to get eyeballs surrounding topics and information that I had literally just randomly learned on the internet. And I also wasn't particularly interested in. And when you have that kind of feeling, it comes through the camera. People can tell. So after a few months of running this Shopify store with not very many results, I decided that I had to lean into something that was a little bit more of interest to me. And so I shifted over to a fitness store. So while I had interest in this area, I still wasn't very well versed on what it took to make content that really got people to not only come into your store, but trust you, right? Want to buy from you. Now, coupled with the first major mistake that we're going to talk about, this business ultimately failed because I wasn't committed. I wasn't consistent. And just about as soon as I discovered Amazon FBA, I moved all of my efforts over to Amazon FBA. Literally. I bought $4,000 worth of a product that I thought, hey, this is gonna really sell out on Amazon, and I completely abandoned my Shopify store, right? I put all of my efforts over into learning Amazon, figuring out how to sell to people, how to rank your product, all that kind of stuff. And my Shopify store, the Instagram surrounding, the YouTube channel that I had to shout out the products immediately went dark. Now, Amazon FBA went completely under. I didn't research the product effectively enough, right? The market for that product was already pretty saturated. I'm not really sure how I even decided on it. And on top of that, the products that I sourced from China were terrible. They were so so poorly made that the products that I gave away for free for people to review broke almost instantly. And I got some of my first bad reviews without even making real sales. So I was down $4,000, multiple months worth of work. And on top of that, Amazon was still charging me every month to hold the products in their warehouses. I lost everything. And once again, without really trying to learn as much as I could from the experience, I just scrapped the whole idea. I threw it out. Now, while I didn't have the best consistency when it came to this project, there is something to be said for never giving up from a macro level, right? Never giving up on the idea of becoming an entrepreneur, the idea of becoming self-employed. Because I kept researching and I kept looking into business models and I kept trying to learn the skills that would allow me to succeed as an entrepreneur long term. What I discovered next was the concept of social media marketing in general. Now, I knew that I had to learn about social media. I knew that I had to get better at the skill of making content. And so I discovered a course that essentially taught people how to run Facebook ads successfully. The more I went down this hole of learning about Facebook ads, the more I started to realize that plenty of businesses out there have a terrible digital presence. Shitty websites, no Google reviews, damn near no Facebook and Instagram page. And so I realized not only is running Facebook ads beneficial to businesses, but really building out an entire digital presence could help them get significantly more customers than they've ever had. And thus was born my first ever real profitable business. I called it Beacon Marketing, and what I did was essentially full service digital solutions. I would reach out to businesses, offer them a very specific solution to something that I noticed. I would start fulfilling that service, and then I would come back to them and say, hey, you could also do this thing and this other thing and this other thing. Now, I started this business back in 2018, but even back then, it was super profitable. Pretty much everybody that I reached out to was interested in some way, right? They wanted to learn something at least from what I could do for them. And so I had a ton of hot prospects. I was getting hot new leads pretty much every single day. And I was also delivering proposals at least a few times a week. All of this essentially led me to not drop out of college, but cut back significantly. I started only going part-time, only taking 2 classes per semester. But all of the money, plus a lack of understanding of where I was really going with this business, kind of led me to burn out. I had a breakup at the time as well, and so it sent me into this real mental health spiral that made me just feel like I fucking hated doing what I was doing, right? And it also created this sort of personal anecdote that, like, whenever I made more money, I would become more stressed. And I would tell myself that. And I would tell other people that as well. And it manifested flawlessly. It played out exactly that way, right? The bigger deals that I would get, the more progress that I would make, like the bigger clients that I would land, the more stress I was under. I was under tremendous stress. And now, objectively, there are reasons for this as well. I was 21 years old, right? I needed a team to do all of these things. I should not have been selling full service digital marketing. I should have just picked one thing and solved that problem. Because every time you have to solve a new problem for businesses, you have to go out there, find a new set of people that can work through those solutions, making sure that you're working out deals with them so they're fairly compensated, keeping all of the projects on a timely schedule, and making sure the deliverables are exactly as your client wants them. I was 21 years old. I had no fucking clue about project management at all. And so, was I making good money? Yeah, I was. But the work was shitty. My clients were not happy. And on top of that, my mental health was completely fucked. So while I had my digital marketing agency for almost 2 years, I decided I'm calling this quits. I asked myself, what would I really want to do, right? If I could do anything, what would the ultimate business model be where I was making money, but it also felt fulfilling? And here we are today, where I've been coaching personal fitness, mental health, and a little bit of business solution for the past few years, and I'm loving it. The only thing that's really in demand is my knowledge. And so in a way, technically, yes, I am still trading time for money, which is something that I'm sure long-term will overcome, but I am making money. I have total freedom in what I get to do all day, right? Pretty great benefit. And the only reason that we didn't get here faster was because of dogma, essentially, right? Because of these ideas other people had on what the most lucrative, what the most beneficial, what the most freeing business models are that I tried to follow, right? Rather than listening to my own intuition, rather than listening to my own inner voice. So let's talk about the major mistakes, right? What are they? Well, number one is not picking a thing and sticking to it. I guarantee that I could have been successful with that first Shopify store that I started. Even though I didn't know anything about yoga, even though I didn't really care about yoga. Ironically, I ended up getting into yoga and loving yoga way long after I quit that business. But the thing is, with all this content that we're absorbing all the time, telling us how easy it is, telling us what the most successful people are doing, like what the best business models are and all this stuff, it skips out on one major factor that is consistent across the board with every entrepreneur I have ever met. There is a huge chunk of time where failure is guaranteed. It's necessary, and people don't tell you that because it's not sexy. Alex Hormozy says everybody needs a Rocky montage, and most people just need to lean into that Rocky montage. And I'm a perfect example of what happens if you don't. You spend time jumping from thing to thing to thing, thinking that, hey, the next thing has got to be better. Something's got to be easier, better, more lucrative than this is. But I promise you, it's not. It's all all about what you can consistently show up to do. And then once you build that foundation of consistency, right, foundation of what you need to do on a daily basis to keep the ball rolling, you can then automate all of those processes that happen on a daily basis and then scale them. And the efficiency of that action can be optimized every single day just to get better and better a little bit. If you're facing struggle in the business that you're in right now, that's a good thing. That means that you have hit those challenging opportunities where you get to learn, get better, and then go out and take more effective action. There's no business that's perfect the first time, and you're only gonna figure out what needs to get better by actually going out and experiencing the failure, right? Experiencing the challenge. But if you hop from thing to thing to thing, thinking, hey, the next thing's gotta be better, you never really get to take those challenges on in the way that's gonna make you a more effective entrepreneur. And so really from the time that I got into this journey, from the time that I actually started to see some consistency in the project that I was working on, it was a fucking long time. It was like 3 or 4 years. So mistake number one, any vehicle works. The real question is, how much stamina do you have? How strong is your mind and how strong is your spirit that allows you to show up, get punched in the face every single day, but stay in the game long enough that you can heal, become stronger, and then go back into that action. Ironically, that's what fitness is all about, right? You have to break down your muscles for them to get stronger. Mistake number two, and I wish somebody had told me this when I first entered the game, service-based businesses are much easier to get your foot in the door than selling physical or even digital products. A service is a one-to-one solution, something where you show up, add the value to that individual customer, and then they walk away with their life being improved. Now, there's a lot of reasons why I think service-based businesses are much smarter to start with. Number one, especially if you're trading information like in a coaching setting, oftentimes there's nothing else that you really have to pay for. If you meet with people over Google Meet or Zoom, those things are free. You don't have to pay anything. If you create deliverables with something like Google Docs or maybe Discord, now there are different kinds of contracts which might say things like, hey, you know, you're gonna get paid after you deliver the result. So if you're creating marketing solutions, you might say, well, okay, my client doesn't actually have to pay me until they get X number of leads or X number of sales. But for most things, like if you're a fitness coach or you're a mindset coach, people are gonna pay you up front. So if you wanna make a course, or maybe you wanna write a book or something that's gonna demand a lot of your time, you can get paid first, right? Before you even start working on the other stuff. And even if you wanna do something like pressure washing or landscaping, you can start by going out and finding clients, right? Start by finding people who are actually willing to compensate you for this work. Get paid for a future appointment, and then use that money to leverage against your credit to go out and buy the supplies. You literally find the clients before you actually fulfill the service. So, zero startup cost, essentially zero fulfillment cost. And the other thing about services is you can often charge significantly more money for the solution, whereas a product is typically something that's going to enhance a person's life, right? Make their life a little bit easier or their journey a little bit easier. Services are typically packaged as the full-fledged solution. You might hire a fitness coach just to help you get your routines in check, but the vast majority of people that take me on to help them with their fitness are paying for a full-fledged transformation. They are agreeing to an exchange, they are agreeing to exchange me currency for that value of a full-fledged life transformation in return. You can charge thousands of dollars to help a person transform their body. Even rich people, right? When they see a $50 protein powder, they're gonna scratch their head and think, what is it about this protein powder that's worth me shelling out 50 bucks? So, services, cheaper to start, and fulfilling on that service is typically far less costly than it is to produce a product. You get to keep way more of the money. All right, third and final mistake is outsourcing confidence. Now, I wanna say right off the bat that if you guys drop comments below this or you send me an email, some form of reaching out to me, asking me questions surrounding business, I will answer you for free. I have paid an exorbitant amount of money to get some very bare bones coaching for my business. Most of the coaching was just telling me, hey, continue to do the things that you know you need to do to make progress. That was it. At this point in my career, I've invested over $25,000 into coaches. Now, are coaches a good thing? Absolutely. Are mentors a good thing? And is it a good idea to pay for them? Yes, sometimes it is. Realistically, even if you're brand new to business, your intuition already knows what's going to move the needle forward. The biggest problem is going to be your confidence in actually doing that, the confidence that you're doing the right thing, the willingness to continue moving forward, right? Keep taking action even when things seem hard or confusing. Because at the end of the day, what gets success is not a silver bullet. It's not a magic tactic. It's the willingness to show up and do the obvious thing for an ungodly amount of time. Do I know powerful techniques? Yes. Do I know about shortcuts and magic bullets? In a way, yeah, I do. But the number one reason I have any semblance of success at all in this point in my life, it comes down to one thing. I just didn't give up. I took action, I reflected on that action, and then from that reflection, I optimized to take better action the next time. And the time between when I knew what I needed to do and actually taking that action was shrunk more and more and more every single time. Whatever business you choose, even if you choose to sell a product up front, even if you do choose to try a bunch of different things, if you make a commitment to yourself that you are going to succeed with entrepreneurship and then back it up with actual action, you are guaranteed to succeed. Of course, if you guys have questions, comments, any help that you might need, drop it below. Send me an email, Zach@VeganStrongFit. As much as I can, I want to eliminate the barriers to getting you clarity. The whole point of of me being all over social media is to give you guys raw value without the gatekeeping. So like this video, subscribe to my channel, hit that little notification bell if you want to know when my videos come out. Questions, comments, anything you might need, drop them in the comments below. And without further ado, my friends, much love, namaste, I will see you soon. Psh.